What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Hilliard Guest, and you guys are listening to the Screenwriters Rant Room, where we keep it real, we keep it opinionated, we keep it West Saeed, game all day. Yeah.
I mean, I done listened to that intro so many times.
Exactly. So on this show, we discuss entertainment, TV, film, music, culture, but our focus is always screenwriting, stories, craft, and shit like that. Now, I say shit like that because you see, we got potty valves and shit like that. So sometimes we curse. So I want you to know up front, it might be like that. So if you guys are grown, we're gonna go ahead and jump to the show. So first of all, big shout out to BRAVEMAKER Film Festival.
Yes.
Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you guys for having us. It's been a long road. I've been doing this show for 11 years. This will be episode 526. Indeed. See, most people, this is something we can talk about. Most people don't make it past 6 episodes.
Talk that talk.
People don't know that. You know, tell them. Oh, there you over there. I thought you left. Most people don't make it that far. So the fact that you can do it, what's up, Gio? The fact that you don't make it that far is that you can make it that far is amazing. So we're gonna jump into the show. So I got my man in the building. I don't know if you guys have your, do they have programs out there?
Programs? Anybody got programs?
Yeah, let's pass the Dutchie out there to the people out there.
Pass the Dutchie.
You know, on the left-hand side. And let's get some people's programs. So I brought my man, Saeed Crumpler, from the Oak Town. How many people from Oakland up in here? Good job. What y'all know about
T-shirt, blue jeans, and Nikes.
That's what it is, see. All my people from Menlo. We got my in the back. We got my man Jesse, my brother Benny, right here, my real brother, by the back.
There we go.
Exactly. And my sister-in-law, I'm about to call her Rhonda. Rhonda in the building. My best friend Quentin in the front.
Yeah.
His girl Brenda. Brenda had a baby. In the building. Is this the seat open right here?
It is.
Sure, come seat in the front. And this is my god brother George.
Yeah.
In the building. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We got Menlo in the house today. In the house today.
That's dope.
So I got my man Saeed here. So Saeed, let's tell him how we met and
Oh yeah, no. I mean, if you're from the Bay, you're familiar with Rasputin Records, and I used to work as Rasputin Records while I was rapping at the same time, and I worked at the one in Berkeley, but I was ordering CDs for the whole chain. Like, you know, Mac Dre would bring me CDs. Guapole, I was the first one to put Guapole CD in the store, and so a lot of the artists that you had, you know, Lil B, all of them, G-Eazy. I still see G-Eazy today, and he'd be like, "Bro, thank you for putting my CD in the store." And I gave artists the opportunity. I was kind of the connector between the owner and the artist. And I knew how to talk that language. But that brings me to this, though. Maybe about 8 years ago, I wanted to get back in screenwriting. And I was looking for podcasts that interview people of color, people that look like me. And there wasn't a lot of those podcasts. And yours was one of those podcasts. I really don't know how I found it. I think I just searched podcasts, you know what I'm saying? Like black screenwriters or something. And I found this podcast, and I used to listen to his podcast.
What you was doing? How were you?
When I was at work.
Tell
when I was at work on the ship. And so what I would do is, if he's the manager, right? I had a Rasputin's hoodie, and I had my cell phone, and I had a headset. I tucked the headset under the hoodie, pull out the earpiece, and like, if my manager here, I have it in the right side, and I'd be listening to the podcast. And then when my manager come over here, I put it in the left side. And I was like listening, consuming your podcast, bro, and it helped keep me inspired. Because sometimes when you work in I was in there dusting children's videos, you know what I'm saying, or dusting used CDs and vinyl. But I was listening to your podcast, and it kept me like on my mission. And kept me inspired, so I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, I kind of told you guys what the show is about, but really at the core, my show is really about, I always say it's about how. So, I always say, here's something I say to every guest who comes on the show. say we sit there before they start, and I say this, I say, you know, you go to a panel like you guys are watching this panel with us right now, and like Saeed's gonna tell you his story in a second. What usually happens is people go, yeah, I moved to LA, I got an agent, you know, I started working on this show, et cetera, and you're sitting in the audience going, motherfucker, how? So my show was that. So my show is what they call a long form show. Saeed does, what, 45, 50 minutes?
Yeah, mine is like 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah, tell them what the show was called. They still
It's called Two Writers Talking Shit.
Yeah.
And it's on all podcasts right now, inspired by Hilliard, you know what I'm saying?
Because I used to say talking shit. He tried to
Yeah, exactly. I had to have that. Remix.
So that's what my show was about. So my show is long form. I like to spend time and let people get to meet the guests, the guests, and to really experience like the whole story. I want you to know the ins and outs and the ups and downs and how hard it was, because that's where you grow, that's where you learn. If you just hear how I made it, you don't learn all the stuff that took me to get there. So we're gonna do a version of that with Saeed right now. And you. Yeah, I'm gonna do mine too. He's gonna interview me, I'm gonna interview him. So, where you from, how you get into the game? Okay, that's enough.
Man, I'm like, man, it's all a blur, because if anybody saw the article, like I was heavily in the Bay Area music scene, and shout out to people that are here that remember me from that time, but I was like a Bay Area rapper during this small movement called hyphy movement. And rest in peace, Chamillionaire, rest in peace, the Jacka and all them is like my folks. Rest in peace, Mac Dre. And I was doing that, but I went to San Francisco State, graduated with a degree in screenwriting, but nobody was making movies out here. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was making movies in LA, which is something we gotta change. That's why, BRAVEMAKER Film Fest is key, because creating opportunities. But I dove headfirst into the rap game. And I just was rapping 100 miles an hour since I was, 18. And I ended up coming up with a group from Richmond called The Frontline, and we created something called The New Bay. And man, I just never looked back. I ended up doing songs with Chamillionaire, Kendrick Lamar. I was in XXL, Source Magazine. I had songs on Cameo.
Why everybody have to tell me where the bars at? I didn't give us a freestyle or some shit.
Yeah, you got
that market, that sound.
You got to pay for that, man. I'm in a whole other profession, man. You know what I mean? You can find it, you Google it. But I ended up diving headfirst into that. But what I didn't realize was I was a storyteller the whole time. You know what I'm saying? And I remember when like a lot of rappers, it kind of was when Nipsey died. I was just like, man, it was like Chamillionaire died, Jacka died, Chamillionaire died.
It's always in threes.
My gosh, bro. And I remember one day I was at Rasputin's and I was putting up, me and my boy TJ, we was putting up the Rest in Peace Jacka on the Rasputin board. And I was like, man, I'm just tired of this and risking my life for $500 shows. And going to a show with 6, 7 homies and, in some area that ain't cool. And I was like, man, it's gotta be more than this. So and at the time, Atlanta came out as a show and Insecure, and I was like, oh, I see myself. And so I ended up taking a class at San Francisco State. I took like Screenwriting 1 just to start over. And then when I took that class, the teacher was like, man, you're actually good. And I was like, damn, okay, I still got it. You know what I'm saying? And then I ended up just diving head first. While I was working at Rasputin's, I think it was on one of your podcasts, you had interviewed Stephen Canals, who created Pose on FX. And he said he took this UCLA program online. And I took the UCLA program while I was working at Rasputin's. And people was laughing at me because they was like, bro, what are you doing with all these screenwriting books? And I was like, man, at night, I'm taking classes at UCLA. And this is when it was Skype. It wasn't even Zoom. You know what I'm saying? And they laughed, but I got the last laugh. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I just stayed focused and just started writing, and everything happened after that. Just stayed focused.
How did you get down to LA? What made you finally make the move down there?
you know, it took me a minute. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I'm from the Bay, and you know, I love the Bay, but LA is where the industry is, especially for television. And so I had to make that move. But I didn't move until I got into the Nickelodeon program, I think, which is funny because I was telling a story yesterday. I got in a Nickelodeon TV writing fellowship with a script about a 50-year-old pimp who gets released from jail only to find out his daughter is following in his footsteps. And it was like a comedy. And they're like, come on to Nickelodeon, but we ain't doing that show. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, cool. You know, so
Get in where you fit in.
Get in where I fit in, you already know.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so you moved down to LA. So I asked this to some people, just every once in a while, but there's a reason behind it. How much money was in your bank account?
Oh, shit, it was shit. I made like $1,000 or something like that in the savings, you know, but I was living, Nickelodeon was paying, I think it was like $400 every 2 weeks or something, like, and so, I didn't.
That's coffee money.
It was hard money, but yeah, it wasn't no money in there like that.
So there's a reason I asked this question. The reason I asked this question is all these people in this room that say you don't live in LA who want to go to LA or New York or wherever it is you want to go, you think you need $30,000 before you go. I moved there with $1,600 in my pocket in 1996,
Fine.
right? So it's about how bad do you want it? What are you willing to sacrifice for your dream? We talked about this before, George.
Absolutely.
And you know what I mean? Everybody, but you get comfortable in your life about whatever you have. You have a regular job, you know how much money you make. Most of us, we have no idea what's going to happen unless you got an overall deal or some shit.
I mean, that happened, you know, and I fell into that. Yeah, we'll get into that, but I
Yeah.
fell into that, though.
Yeah, sure.
Let me ask you, though, what, because, you know, coming from Palo Alto, you know what I'm saying? Been low. I got family from Palo Alto.
You gotta say it right. You gotta put the
stamp on it. No, I know, totally insane. I know the whole deal. Yeah, no.
I'm saying Geo.
Were you because at the time I remember you telling me you were breakdancing and doing dancing and stuff like that. Like, what theater was it? And let's talk about that. Like, how like your outlet was going to the Bay Area theater scene, and that's what led you. Like, kind of talk to me about what it was that gravitated to you, and how did you find that Bay Area community?
It was by accident. So there's two pivotal moments that happened when I had to go to the bathroom and pee. So it's funny. Shut up. University Avenue, all y'all who know, right down here. So probably a year or two before I met my man Quentin, I was down there with my homeboys, because downtown is where you go. That's where everything was popping. And we would break dance down there every once in a while. They used to remember the Burger King down there. And so we were down there one night, and what would happen is we break dance for money, and you put a little, you know, what they call it, a little hat. And everybody would make money. So y'all know from Menlo and EPA, the bus would stop running, what is it, like 11 midnight or something?
For sure.
So white folks are like, what's that? So we live on the black side, okay? So the way it works was at a certain time, the bus would go from Palo Alto to the east side, but at like midnight, they're like, oh, we ain't going over there at midnight. For those of you who don't know, Palo Alto, EPA, is where the movie Dangerous Minds took place. People don't know that. So all of us went to those schools. I don't know, Benny, were you old enough to go to that school before it closed? It was, anyway, well, Ravenswood was the middle school version of that, where all of us went. But like Mike probably went to the older version.
Right.
So anyway, so the bus would stop running. So this is how I met all of these cats, and I'll get into that in a moment. This is the first bathroom story. So I had to go to the bathroom. So the children's theater is just a few blocks away. So I would sneak in there because we would go into Burger King, but y'all know when you ain't got no money. Remember how quick we would go to Burger King and be like, y'all ain't got no money. Y'all coming using the bathroom too much. So I would go over there and go to the bathroom. I walk in and they're having auditions for a show for the older folks called Free to Be You and Me.
Okay.
I walk in and they're like, oh, you're here to audition. I was like, what's that? They're like, oh, you're saying you dance? I'm like, well, that's easy. Okay, whatever. So we're out there doing routines.
Yeah.
Breakdance
for money.
stuff.
Yeah.
And I always kind of could dance. Like, I was obsessed with, like, West Side Story and stuff. And I already knew how to do pirouettes and stuff. Shut up. And
You just slide that out. Yeah, I got you.
I am a dancer. And I'm a brother, like vocals and shit. And so I went there to peep. I do the audition. So children's theater is like 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4. I'm like, I'm adding spins, kicking my head, all the shit. And they're like, oh, we're putting him in the front. So this is the thing that I think actually saved my life. So I started doing theater. Benny know, Jesse know. I started doing theater when I was 12. And my homeboys who I hung out with, I ain't gonna say their name because I know who they are. Let's just say crack came into the neighborhood in 1984.
Facts.
And everybody went that way.
Yeah.
Right? Was it?
Facts.
Oh yeah. Like you was there. And it got bad. Let's say that.
Yeah.
And my homeboys went that way. And I was busy doing theater. So the second time the bathroom thing happened, I was down there hanging out with my friends again. One night I wasn't doing my shows. And this is the other thing. I started doing theater so much, and Benny will tell you, I was doing theater 6 months a year. I was always doing a show, back to back to back. West Side Story, Chorus Line, everything. And what happened was, I went to meet my homeboys down there, and the bus was gonna leave. I had to go to the bathroom, and I walked into the varsity. This is how I met Lindsay and all that. I walk into the varsity, and the varsity used to be, it's like Borders Books or some shit. I forget what they call it. Is that what it was? Used to be a big bookstore. But on Saturday night, every Saturday in the 80s, they would play Quadrophenia. They would play Dance Craze, or they would play every Saturday at midnight, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Okay, yeah.
So I was walking by all the weird punk rockers, skinheads, and everybody, whatever. And I come outside, and my homeboys left. The bus had came because I was waiting in line. I was like, damn. I was like, can I call Benny, my brother? And I was like, well, I can't call my dad because I always call my dad. And I was standing there looking around, and I look down and I see these two rude boys, Lindsay and Andre. And they're looking at me like, you, and Lindsay's like, you all right? And I was like, well, huh? Brothers. Yeah, they're brothers. Andre and Lindsay Johnson. Shout out to them. And we start talking. Now, there's some ignorance that we have in the hood. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I look at these
Say
two.
what?
I'm gonna tell you. Let me give it to you. I'm looking at these two brothers. Now, these two rude boys are dressed like 60s style. They look like straight out of Fishbone, the Untouchables, dope looking dudes. And I'm like, why y'all dressing white? I said it. And they went, white? You see all these white folks in here? They're actually more on the black side. All these dudes are inspired by black music, by black style. See the skinhead over there? That's a black style that the British took. They just start schooling me on all this stuff. I'm just like, wow. They ended up walking me home, all the way home. And y'all, those who know where that is, from Palo Alto to Midlow, is a long way. So the entire way home.
And it's better to be with 3 than 1. I know this.
But they walked me, and they lived on the white side, which is funny, right? They walked me all the way home. By the time I was home, I was in.
Oh, that's tight.
And I think that was the summer of 84, 85. By the end of the summer, I was full rude boy style. Yeah. We met Quentin that summer. We were in. That changed my life. So the bathroom changed my life twice.
That's tight.
And I still got 6 scooters. I still do my shit. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah. Yeah.
Doug, what's that got to do with screenwriting? We'll get there, bitch.
Nah, but that had to do with that you being exposed to movies, film.
I'm showing you that I'm the underdog, is what I'm really trying to show you.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Which I feel is part of the Bay Area story, being underdog.
The Bay is an interesting place. You and I talk about this a lot. When we think about the Bay is somewhere where we Somebody said yesterday on the panel we were on, like we have a hustle, I think it was you, like we have a hustle that's like naturally ingrained in us that if we make our mind up, it's gonna happen. Like you're gonna finish the thing you said you were gonna do, for sure. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that's something I took to LA, that like if you ever talk to me and all my family can tell you, if I say I'm gonna do something, it's done.